Hi Jojo, dear friend, brushes. And here's the Purdie shuffle. It's like a half shuffle. If I just play the shuffle first, which you all know very, very well, this is for everyone that's going to receive this little video. If I just play the shuffle, it's the first and third of each triplet. A 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you can see the motion of my arm is really important for any sort of groove. There's sometimes a pumping action with the arm, wrist and fingers. Like if we're playing 16ths, there's a little bit of a wing. Your arm is like wing. You know, the arms are like wings. I love mentioning that to people because then it feels like everything's open. It's not just clasped by the side and a little bit tight, but open and circular. Somehow like circular motions, like Tai Chi, all those sort of beautiful arts of using the physical body in the best possible way, energy-wise. Okay, so here's the shuffle. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Now just that alone, if we play a shuffle, it's all comprised of triplets, basically. You may have heard some little notes in between the shuffle, which are called ghost notes. There's the backbeat, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the bass drum can vary quite a bit. But in between that shuffle, there's the middle triplet. So 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, but played really quietly. So there's the backbeat, so there's the first one. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2, 1 and a 2, and 1 and a 2. And there's another one on the third triplet coming out as well. 1 and a 2, and 1 and a 2, 1 and a 2, and 2. So there's any amount of little beats in between the backbeat. Or you could sort of suspend the backbeat and not play for a little while and play just things in between like this. 1 and a 2, 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2. So if we go back to just that basic thing of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Now we're going to put the backbeat in a different place. So 1 and a 2 and a 3, a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3. So we're doing the first two beats like that. 1 and a 2 and a. There's the backbeat, which is now a half shuffle on the beat 3. You leave the little beat out. You don't play that there necessarily. So 1 and a 2 and a 3, a 4 and a. And 4 and a is the last part of it. So this is the complete one, just with pulse on the bass drum. 1 and a 2 and a 3, 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3, 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3, 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3, and 4 and a 1. So another set of little beats in between could be second and third triplets. So sounding like a very fast waltz, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So right, left, both together. Right, left, both together. So it's the second, third triplets. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and the first and third with your leading hand. So don't worry about this grip. It's not important at all. This is a very interesting little tip. This is the same as this. The stick of the brush is in the same position, just the hand position changes. So there's no difference with them. You don't ever need to play that if you don't want to, the traditional grip. It's actually quite difficult. It's just that I started 50 years ago with this. It's become developed, but I remember about 4 or 5 years into it and thinking, what is going on with this? Does it have to be here, to be there? What's the angle? Where's the stick go? What's happening with the thumb? Because actually the grip is in here, just out of interest. You never grip anything there. You don't grip things with that part of your hand. It's more with the fingers, like we do with this, the fulcrum. Anyway, that's an aside. That's out of the way. So when you're watching this, of course, you just know that both are the same. So we're back to 1 and a 2 and a 3, a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3, 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3, 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3, 4 and a... Okay, what I was showing you just before was the second and third here, so it's overlapping. We're playing that, shuffle on the right hand, really nice flow, or with the leading hand, and the opposite hand is doing this second and third. So I'll just now play the first here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's a good pattern anyway. For fills and sixteenths. Right, left, left, right, or left, right, right. So it's 1 on the leading hand and 2 with the other. So sets of 3, which can be cross sixteenths as well. That's another lesson, of course. So we've got that's a bit more advanced, so I think leave that aside for now, but you could experiment and find your own grooves, because the thing is, this is called the Bernard Purdie Shuffle, but also John Bonham made it famous, Fools in the Rain, that track. There, Rosanna is Jeff Porcaro with Toto. So, you know, many people have used it in a very special way and personalised it. So yes, it's come from a particular source, and probably even before Bernard Purdie, it would have been something New Orleans style sort of drumming. And then where does that come from? Perhaps Africa. Where does that come from? Perhaps India. We don't know. So there's long history. No one owns any groove. It's beautiful that we're honouring Bernard Purdie, but also let's honour ourselves and play it in our own way. Start with what you've heard and then personalise it. Okay, good. So back to this one. 1 and a 2 and a 3, a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3, 4 and a... Now, the slightly tricky thing at first is getting the bass drum in the right spot. So what about we just do this without the backbeat? 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a... Just getting a bass drum pattern that's continuous as a loop. Then this one. Combination of those two. Now I'm playing this way too fast. When you're starting out, you'd probably start at this sort of tempo. Or even slower with the metronome. Good. So we've got to that point. I'll go a few steps on. So we've got this. Now, sometimes it's described that backbeat has both the backbeat and the next triplet. So but it's dropping down from the accent straight down to the little ghost, what's called a ghost note, or embellishment, or you could say a very, very low dynamic in-between groove. But ghost notes tells you exactly what it is. So, now what I did there, in terms of a fill, was just move my leading hand. It might be something with the other hand just to make that up. So leading hand, 2 on the other hand. So it's basically the same thing I was playing here. And it can sound so beautiful. Even if I just move it to one drum, I'll move it to the floor tom and play a whole bar of what I'm playing here. that one, right, for me, right, left, left, right, left, left, leading hand and 2 on the other hand. Very easy fill. It's leading with your main side. I've got a little splash here, you probably don't see it in shot, but it's just jiggling on top of the ride cymbal. Without it being tightened up. Anyway, interesting, eh? I love it. Cool. So back to this. Now we've got the little in-between beat, which is the middle triplet. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Backbeat. We'll just do a single backbeat. Here we go. And you'll notice there's an accent here too. Really lovely pumping action with the accent. Okay. This is feeling like Master Blast. So it's got that little beat in between. Now all I'm doing there is just going to single stroke triplets. Singles with some accents around the toms. But each one of those, you know, it's easy for me to say playing for so long, but what we do basically is one thing at a time, slowly, to get it so ingrained and so natural and so beautiful feeling that it's just automatic. It's what we call second nature, but I think it's actually called first nature. You make it so natural that it feels like you've always been doing it. Does that make sense? Good. Now we're going to change the bass drum a little. We've got this. And that was just singles again, with coming out with leading hand and 2 on the other hand in that fill. Now I'm just varying the bass drum occasionally, and this needs to be a gradual thing as well. Most natural fill that we can play is to play this same groove, but now just move the leading hand around the kit. Here we go. Okay, that's me just being naturally me because of all of those things I've put in over many years. But don't be daunted by that. Just do one thing at a time. Just leading hand and 2 on the other hand. And work out how best to get around your particular setup. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. But let's, I'll take this little splashy off the ride, and we'll do some stuff with the hi-hat, filling around the kit, playing the same groove basically and just moving it. And sometimes I'll move those little ones up to one of the toms. That'll be very cool. And then I'll go to the ride cymbal. Maybe some of the little in-betweens could be on another instrument like this. Now it's sounding quite complex really, but I'm just playing the same thing and sometimes giving it a different dynamic. So sometimes these little ones are quite soft, or you could make it loud. And it becomes a completely different rhythm, almost African. So if you were to play the whole groove on the toms, maybe between two toms. So coming back to the snare, if you were recording and just had reverb only on the snare, that could be incredible. So it's endless, as always. Keep experimenting, find different things, enjoy everything, and keep breathing before you play. Set up the zone, and during, be aware of your breathing. And to complete, take another deep breath. See you again soon.